You know that everybody who killed everybody and popped everybody, but you don't know how 600 got down on Raunchy though.
Yo, face. Show your face, please, with sugar on top.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Hookah Anonymous _. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, it done got real weird in the music industry once again, but this time something ain't making sense. Now, it's one thing to call us a conspiracy theorist, but what do you call the police that charge a man for the unaliving of someone close to someone that you are friends with? Confusing, right? Okay, let me break it down in layman's terms real quick. Let's say your auntie gets unalived in a drive-by that supposedly you was the target in, and when the police do their investigation, it comes back that the shooter is affiliated to someone you know. So basically, no matter how you cut the corners of this situation, it's a crazy situation no matter how you look at it, because it's either one, your homeboy tried to take your life and you didn't know, or two, your homeboy tried to take your life but ended up unaliving your aunt, or three, you sent your homeboy to set everything up and now it's all coming to light. It's one of those three things, and either way, it paints T Grizzley in a bad light, because now that we know his own friend is behind the shooting, unaliving of his aunt, what do we do? If he keep kicking it with them, it's gonna look like he's the one behind everything. Or two, you just found out your own friend, someone who was an attendee at your wedding, was allegedly trying to take you out, or at least had something to do with it. And yes, I know everyone's innocent until proven guilty, y'all, but out of all the people in the world, why would law enforcement accuse 600 Wu? Now, before we get into the news that just broke, let's get into the details of what transpired so y'all can understand what's going on. Now, if y'all remember, T Grizzley's aunt / manager was shot and unalived during a drive-by shooting in T's hometown of Detroit back in 2019. According to reports, August 20th, 2019 at approximately 9 p.m. in the 3600 block of 3 Mile Drive, a black Chrysler 300 occupied by T Grizzley's aunt, Jabina Brown, aka JB, T Grizzley and one other male was stopped at a location on 3 Mile Drive. When the driver exited the vehicle, shots were fired from an unknown location. Reports say T Grizzley's aunt was the only one that was hit during the shooting on her left side, and when she was taken by a nearby hospital, she was pronounced deceased. Now, we will learn that no one else was injured during that shooting except T Grizzley's aunt. Now, from the beginning, I always said that this shooting was suspect because it didn't make much sense, and it's actually similar to the Philly rapper YBC Duel situation where he was shot and unalived as well. Whereas there's a drive-by shooting and somehow shots are fired at the car, but some way they only hit one person. In the YBC Duel situation, whoever did it had to be a sharpshooter to shoot as much time as they did and only strike him as he sat in the back seat during the drive-by shooting right next to the driver who wasn't hit at all. Not even a ricochet, a graze, nothing. And when it comes to T Grizzley's aunt / manager, it was basically the same thing, but who would ever think that it may have been an inside job? Well, according to social media, because we haven't been able to find an accurate arrest record due to us not being able to find 600 Wu's real name, but it said that while he was already incarcerated for an unrelated charge, he has now been charged with the unaliving of T Grizzley's aunt / manager in 2019. Shout out to Detroit Hits, because they will post official court records stating that 600 Wu was arrested the same day JB was unalived and caught with the same firearm used in her shooting. In the court document, it'll say, quote, On or about August 20th, 2019, in the Eastern District of Michigan, the defendant Jermaine Whedon, knowing that he had been convicted of a crime punishable by imprisonment, for a term exceeding 1 year, knowingly possessed a firearm, to wit, a Glock 23 40 caliber semi-automatic handgun bearing serial number PAZ363, said firearm having been shipped and transported in interstate commerce in violation of Title 18 United States Code sections 922 and 924. Now I'm assuming this is why people are saying that he was the one behind the shooting, or he's the one that they gathered for it, because he was caught with the same weapon that was used. So whether they had information that he did it or not, surveillance, or he was snitched on, whatever the case may be, possession is 9/10 of the law. So if you got a weapon, let's say you didn't even do the crime. If you have the weapon that was involved in the shooting and you get caught with it, they're gonna assume that you was the one that did it. Simple as that. But let's get into some interesting details that may have been a motive behind her passing and why people are alleging that allegedly T Grizzley may have been behind it. So to understand where we're going with this, first and foremost, we have to understand that according to numerous of people, JB wasn't T Grizzley's real aunt. Everyone keeps saying, well, why would T want to get rid of his own aunt? Who would do something like that to their own aunt that they clearly love? Well, she was his manager, who he may have looked at as his auntie, but blood relation or marriage? No. Detroit rapper Sh0t Baby, who was also managed by JB, called her auntie as well. So it's clear that she may have been an auntie figure to these guys, but she wasn't necessarily their real aunt biologically or through marriage. Then to strengthen that claim, a woman who would identify herself as JB's actual cousin would go underneath a post of the claims that she was unalived by 600 Woo, and she would say, quote, "My cousin was not his auntie, but his manager." Now here's where it gets weird. Normally I would point out something sacrificial because we know how that industry gets down. Whether it was due to trying to get the manager out the way so the artist could collect more money, or maybe just giving them a period to excel. And the way everything happened just didn't sit right with many people. But it will come out that it's deeper than just that, allegedly. It could have been that too, but it's been rumors circulating that one of the main reasons people feel T allegedly paid to get JB knocked off was because allegedly he got her pregnant. And keep in mind, this is around the time T was supposed to be living a straight and narrow life on a path to getting married. So for it to come out that not only did he have intercourse with his manager / auntie, but to then get her pregnant as well, that'd be very detrimental for his career. One user in Detroit Hits comments would say, quote, "T got her pregnant, and since he had a fiance, he called that hit on her. The whole M was plotted, them being in different cars yet going to the same location and etc. T said the pic, they just thought that it wouldn't catch up to them. Hence, he's turned his life around and no longer mentions JB or his acts in the streets. Remember, he's a streamer now. N-word rebranded like dirt before he got caught." Another user on Reddit would say, quote, "Bro, she had to go. He was signed to her and had her pregnant. That wasn't his real auntie. She was in the way. She had to get axed out, so he had some out-of-town MFs do it instead of Detroit so nobody would know. I knew this ish since it happened." Now, I don't know how true any of this is, but if you've been on Reddit since the situation with JB happened, you remember guys in the comments saying this. But let's be real. We know how them people in Reddit comments could be, and also, who would think that T would be having intercourse with who he would say is his actual aunt at the time? But according to a lot of people who's actually from Detroit, they would claim this is old news and they've been saying it. Detroit Hits will also post a video of someone who actually told them this information back in 2024. But of course, like everyone else, they didn't take the user serious. He texted them first and sent audios, but in the DM, he would say, quote, "JB, T Grizzley manager / auntie, got unalived by 600 OTF Buka, that backdoor a MF. Auntie got smoked by 600 Buka."
Everybody on the east side know that, nigga. Them been facts, nigga. Fuck is you talking about? How you don't know? You mean? You know that everybody who killed everybody and popped everybody, but you don't know how 600 got down on auntie though. Bro, what you think? What kind of crime reporter is you? You mean?
Now he was a little off. I'm assuming when he said by 600 Buka, being that the affiliation between Buka and Woo, you know, them both being Chicago guys and 600, I guess that's what he meant. Who knows? But I told y'all before, a lot of times when y'all think that his blog is telling, most time the bloggers get their information from somewhere. And usually the information is given by people who's close to the situation, who knows a lot, wants the truth to be put out there, but they don't want to be the ones to do it themselves. Usually people do that because they fear for their life or don't want to be labeled as a snitch or whatever. And it seems like that's what happened here, as you can see, because this person been called. Now, like I said earlier, some people are saying, oh, these guys clicked up and they ended up getting snaked. But what if it wasn't a snake situation, right? What if allegedly she was backdoored for a reason none of us know? Because guess what? Why else would a 600 member, or let's say coincidentally a 600 member, have a reason to unalive T Grizzley's aunt? Plus, they were in separate cars when everything happened, according to people. Some say they was in the same car, some say they was in different cars, who knows? But at the end of the day, what a coincidence that she was the only one hit out of that whole situation. Now that everything hit the fan, for public perception in his career, his best bet is to act like he's distancing himself from 600 Hookah and anybody from Chicago and play the role as if he don't know what's going on. Because if he continues to have a relationship with any of them, it's going to make him look like he had something to do with his manager getting unalived. So he's screwed all across the board. And it's hard to believe that T didn't know what was going on, and even if he didn't, then now it falls on 600 Hookah. You mean to tell me Hookah didn't know anything as well? How? Who put 600 Woo up to this and why? And I'm telling you right now, if 600 Woo decides to talk, being that he's pretty much caught and gonna have to take the rap for this, then it's really game over. But at the end of the day, the ultimate question is, why would a Chicago dude want to crash out in Detroit? What's the reason? And I'm sure he's gonna have the answer to that question behind his motive eventually, so let's see what he does. Now, Mimo 600 will repost a picture of 600 Woo after the news will come out. Not sure what he meant behind that. But then also Detroit Hits will show that T Grizzley is actually following Woo now. And it's crazy because now that I think about it, the family usually knows who the suspect is before it's released to the public. So I'm sure they knew ahead of time, but yet he's still following him and we still see Grizzley hanging with Hookah. I don't know, y'all. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about all this, man. Keep in mind it's all alleged and it's all for entertainment purposes only. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'ma keep on dropping. I'm out.